Welcome to the Finding Your Motivation presentation, where we are here to help you learn what motivation is and how to find it as a college student. There are simple and effective ways to help you learn how to find your own motivation, to help you guide you into more successful behaviors that will help you in college. Do you feel like you lack the motivation to do things that you need to do as a college student, whether that be study for an exam, write a paper, or rewrite your notes? Do you feel like you need someone in your life to motivate you to do the things you should be doing better? Yet, do you ever feel like if you had someone in your life to motivate you, you would be more successful in your classes? Maybe you'd be more successful in finding an internship in college or more successful with making the right decisions as a college student? If you feel any of these three things we just hit on, that is your number one problem. The issue that comes to lacking motivation in college is whenever you place the responsibility of motivation on someone else, what you are doing is tying your success to someone else. Your success depends on whether or not they feel like they want to show up for you today, whether or not they want to be there for you, and whether or not they want to give you that reason to do what it is you're supposed to do as a student. It is nobody's responsibility but your own to motivate you. And I know what you're thinking right now is clear. So, well, if I had the motivation, I wouldn't procrastinate. I wouldn't be watching videos on YouTube instead of doing my homework. I wouldn't be choosing time with my friends each night instead of studying. So, I'd like to tell you how to gain motivation. First, let's look at the definition of what is motivation. The word motivation has a lot of different definitions. Some say it's the process that initiates goal-oriented behavior. Others say it is a force used to explain behaviors. The best definition I found was the desire to act in service of a goal. Understanding what your motivation is lies in one thing, knowing what your goal is. Let's take a look at what different types of goals there are. There are short-term, long-term, and lifetime goals. Short-term goals can take a couple of months to a year. These are best to break down into weekly or monthly goals. Long-term goals can be incorporated with short-term goals, but you can make them more attainable. You can set the limit on these. There are also lifetime goals. These goals take up the most sustained effort and help guide your life's purpose. So what are your goals? Short-term goal examples are paying off credit cards or student loans. Long-term goals are you want to save up to put a down payment on a house. Some life goal examples are expanding your family. Now that you know what different types of goals are, it's time to think about what your goals should be as a college student. Most college students have some pretty simple goals that are short or long-term based. Some of the participants in a Back on Track program at Chadron State College said that their goals were better time management, getting a 3.0 GPA or higher for the semester, staying on top of classwork, or just simply passing a class that they've been struggling in. These are all great goals for college students. So we've talked about goals and we've talked about motivation, but how do they tie together? Goals can help provide direction in life. They measure progress from beginning to end. They can really help with accountability. But motivation comes from within. It does guide your choices and decision making, and it shows the product of how much value and belief you have in your goals. For a goal to be motivating, it has to be relevant and meaningful to your life and enjoyable to work toward. Some of the most common motivators are incentives, power, affiliation, achievement, fear, and attitude. Incentives are usually money focused. Power is position driven. Like you want to get a better job. Maybe you're wanting to get a different title at your position. Affiliation is driven by the social aspect of working with others. Achievement is motivated by specific objectives. Fear, which is very short term, is avoiding termination or demotion. So you'll do it so you don't get fired. Then there's attitude, because you want to change another person's thoughts or perspectives, or maybe even your own. The key is to try to find an understanding of your own individual motivators. First thing to note is we don't all have the same motivators. What motivates you may not motivate the people you work with or who may work for you, which can be frustrating at times. Another thing to remember is these do tend to be consistent over time. The key motivators you have will most likely not change, but shift to meet the need of your life and your life circumstances. You will also have multiple different motivators. Understanding that you are not motivated or are motivated by more than one thing is huge, as it helps you fine tune what is and what isn't purposeful or meaningful in your life. So, what does this all mean? Understanding your motivators will help guide you into a life that gives you purpose and meaning, which is what we're all striving for. So, now that you know what may motivate you, how do we start? Here are some great tips for self motivation. The first one is creating a vision board. This is a super fun and easy way to help create self motivation in your life. You can use cutout magazines, you can print off pictures. The key here is when you make the vision board, you want to put it somewhere that you look at every day and really look at each thing that you put on the vision board. You can tell yourself what you're grateful for while you review it, and also remind yourself what your goals are. The next thing that you can do to help self motivation is make a SMART goal chart. This is something that you can print off online in a template format, and it helps you think of goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. This is the most effective way to create and manage any goal. Another way to track your goals is to have milestones. That's when you have a really long-term goal, but you break it down into smaller, more attainable goals. The key here is to celebrate when those are accomplished. That can be as simple as taking yourself out to dinner, going out with some friends, or even buying yourself your favorite Starbucks coffee. You also need to give yourself an action plan. Just like using SMART goals, this acts as a map on your way to achieving goals that you have set for yourself. In summary, understanding what motivates you helps give you clarity about what you want and helps you find what your true purpose is. This is something that is important beyond your time as a student. You can take these motivators and apply them to your relationships, work, and of course, your education. I would like to thank you for joining us today to learn more about motivation, goals, and how to help you as a college student. Please join us again to learn more tips, tricks, and tools on how to help you with your academic success.